What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. I am out at Palmetto Permascapes today, our 16-acre family farm, doing some land management in our wild zones. Now, in permaculture, we like to zone our property out. This would be considered your Zone 4, Zone 5 area, generally saved for wild areas, wetlands, and I want to share with you today 2 tips. Very simple, very easy. I try to distill things down to make it very simple. 2 tips when it comes to managing your wildscapes. As always, garden fans, please like, share, and subscribe. That's what really helps us out. If we could reach 100,000 subscribers, I will be able to get some sponsors to get some equipment out here for free. That's what really help us out. As always, come on back and enjoy the journey. All right, garden fans, to jump right in. In permaculture, we like to zone our property out, Zone 0 through Zone 5. And typically your Zone 5 is going to be your wild land, your wild areas, your wild wetlands. And that's what I'm out here managing currently. When it comes to managing your wildlands, I want to share 2 things with you that I'm keeping in mind. 2 very basic, simple things. Number 1, you're going to want to be able to identify and know your native plant species for your region. This is going to be different across the country. For us here in Zone 8, South Carolina, specifically the Sandhills region, we got a lot of oaks and pine trees that grow out here natively. Now, there are other things that I'm looking for that also grow here native. Some things like American persimmon. If I see any of these, I'm going to want to keep them. Wild blackberry, wild muscadines. Muscadines are wild here. Sumac, definitely going to want to leave any type of sumac I see. Any mulberries, I'm going to leave them. I'm also specifically looking for support species. So things like black locust or mimosa. I'm going to let those things continue to grow out here. And I know a lot of people don't like mimosa or black locust, but those are nitrogen fixing shrubs that are going to continue to build this sandy loam soil that I'm standing on. That's step 1. Identify and know your native plant species. Step 2, pretty easy. It's the opposite of that. You're going to want to identify your non-native species and aggressive plants that do not belong in your zone, non-natives and invasives. So for us here right now, what I'm looking for is a lot of this Florida maple. While it is native to South Carolina, I don't like it for its aggressive spread and suckering. These guys are taking up a lot of the space that I could be using for more prized species. They're taking up the space of the oak trees, basically. Oaks are slow growers. These guys are aggressive, fast growers. They end up shading out a lot of the oak trees that I want to foster out here. So I'm doing a lot of chop and drop of the Florida maples. I'm chopping and dropping a lot of Chinese privet. While it's good flowering shrub for the bees, we can do better than that. Another thing I'm chopping and dropping is white pine. You're going to see a lot of white pine out here. In my opinion, this white pine, where it's at right now, barely 7, 8, 10 feet tall, it's useless. I can't even sell this stuff for firewood. It's basically useless to me and taking up space. The space that I'm going to create by chopping down a lot of these invasives or aggressive spreaders, I'm going to be planting more native prized species. Things like bald cypress, swamp tupelo, black tupelo. I like those plants, okay? Bald cypress is native to South Carolina swamplands, and that's what I want to foster out here. Tupelo, also native to the greater South. And I like tupelo honey. I'm a beekeeper, okay? I want a lot more tupelo and a lot less pine, which isn't doing much for my bees. Now, there are a few pine species I am looking for. Loblolly pine is one. Those are native specifically to South Carolina, and I will leave any of them that I find. But for the most part, I'm looking for native species and getting rid of the non-natives. I want to show you that in actual application right now, because I've been out here the past couple weeks liberating, freeing up this 80-foot tall oak tree. This is a beautiful specimen here on the property. It's huge. It's the tallest tree on the property that I've found so far, and I am liberating this space around it. I'm cutting down a lot of the Chinese privet. I'm cutting down spice bush, which I don't need or don't want. There is a lot of puncture vine out here. The Florida maples are going down, and I'm going to be using all this chop and drop to help support the oak that I want to grow. Another thing I'm doing to help liberate this oak tree, chopping and dropping the English ivy that's crawling up it, trying to choke it out. So I've chopped down all these vines at the base. When they die off, it's going to make it easier for me to pull these off. This oak tree is a long leaf oak. I can't quite tell if it is a willow oak or a laurel oak. I'm leaning towards laurel oak just based off the size alone. Either way, this is in the red oak family, and this is one that I want to keep on the site. This is going to be a focal point when it comes to the walking trails we're going to have around here. All this chop and drop material, these pines, I'm going to be using this to basically stuff a gully that has worn itself in a rut around this tree. I'm basically kind of bringing the land back up, stuffing all these gullies around this oak tree, and what's going to happen in true permaculture style is this wood is going to absorb water like a sponge and help feed this tree long term. Basically, it's going to be a giant hugel mound around this red oak tree. And this thing is huge. Once again, 80 feet tall, garden fans. Let me see. I don't know if you can see this, but I can't get my arms around this tree. This guy is huge, and it's definitely going to be a focal point on any kind of walking trail that I put out here. Definitely want to foster this old growth oak tree, and I want more of it out here. Less maple, more oak. So to recap, garden fans, 2 quick tips. Know what grows in your zone, know what native wild trees you want to foster, and then cut out all the non-natives, cut out all the invasives. As you're cutting down, you're going to be making space for more prized species, which is basically what I'm doing out here in my Zone 5 garden. As always, garden fans, I appreciate you coming out. If you could find it in your heart to support this project, we do have a GoFundMe in the description below. Please like, share, and subscribe as always. That's what really helps us out. God bless, as always, fans. We'll see you next week.